All right, so today I wanted to teach you guys how to do and how to find the properties that you're going to be looking for through our method and our technique, which is described under Hidden Gems. And this is how you're going to look these up, and you can use multiple websites to do this. The one that we use the most right now is actually Zillow, but you can use other websites such as Redfin.com, Realtor.com. That's another one. Just anywhere that lists properties that are available for rent, you can do Google searches and start doing it this method. It's very simple. Share my screen right now, and then I'm going to give you a quick walkthrough on what this process truthfully looks like. It's not terribly difficult by any means. All right, so we're going to go to Zillow. Go on in, and what you're going to want to do is you're going to go through, pick a market, more or less. You're going to have to go to a specific city. I'm just going to pull this up as an example of what kind of cities that we'd be looking at. We have been in Austin before. We like that city a lot. It is a little bit oversaturated, but it does still perform and have decent numbers. But we're going to go to Austin. We're going to go up to these drop downs right here. And this is where you're going to put in all the key filters that you want the property to have so that you can pick what you want so you know you're going to make good money at it. I'm going to make it for rent, and the price range that I like to look for is between the $2,000 to $3,000 price range of rental per month max. That's what I try to keep it at. If you can get better deals than that and you can get a better performing property, by all means, take it. But that's where we go. Maximum, I'm going to put at $3,000. Minimum, I don't really care, just because anything could be lower than that. Home type. I don't like apartments. We don't tackle apartments or anything like that. I eliminate those out of the gate. They are a good play, but it's not what we do or what we teach. We like single family homes. We try to stick to the 3-bedroom, 2-bath bed count on average. Sometimes 4 bedrooms, sometimes 2.5 to 3 bathrooms too. All depends. Townhomes are an option. I'm going to eliminate that for now. I'm going to hit apply. And then lastly, in certain markets, what you want to also have is minimum maximum square feet are good. On average, I would say that you would be well off to hit around the 2,000 square foot mark as a safe place to be. It's not too expensive to get into. It covers a lot of space to host a good size amount of people. You can probably fit 8 to 10 guests if done right, based on that square footage size, ballpark, just a little golden nugget for you there. So I'm gonna hit around, I'll say 2,250 just to be safe, just to see what happens. And then the last but not least, what I like to pick on is must have a pool. So you're going to scroll down and you're going to see under other amenities. And under that, you have must have a pool. Typically, every house inside of Austin has AC. It's Texas. Certain markets automatically have AC. Pretty much everywhere in Florida, the Gulf Coast, anything like that will have AC. So if they don't, very shocking. But you'll learn as you go. I'm also going to click allow small dogs. It's a give or take, and it's your choice if you want to allow animals at your property while you're in Airbnb. We find that it does produce a decent amount of different types of guests that want to come, so it is a revenue stream that you can attack and or capture. So personal choice at that point. Hit apply, and then this is what you're going to do. You're going to go through and start looking at all these properties and just start looking at what's available, what they offer, and how to take it from there. Next step is what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you on the journey of getting this address, plug it into another software that we use that we're going to be utilizing, which is called AirDNA. And then I'm going to show you how to look at that property and tell if it is a good property or if it's not. So, good deal or bad deal. All right, so let's say we'll pause there. I'm going to pull up AirDNA now. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick one of these properties. I'm going to pick this one right here. This was posted 11 days ago. So that's something to be very aware of. The longer the property is listed, increases the likelihood that you're going to get a yes from the landlord. I like to look at properties that have been up there for 30 days or more. I'll look at anything, but when I see 30 days, that means that landlord has already had to pay out of pocket for 1 month, and that's overhead, and that hurts them. So they're going to start becoming more desperate. I'm going to say that loosely, desperate for a tenant, you. So it increases your chances significantly. I like to look at the property pictures just to make sure that what we're getting into is quality and it's not cheap, and we're not going to be attracting the wrong kind of clientele, because the cheaper the property, the cheaper the guest. So bear that in mind. It's like going to Walmart versus Target. And that's absolutely fine if that's the avatar of guest and client that you want. Just be aware. So I love the back photo here. That's a really cool patio for people to sit, go out and sit in. I don't see a pool, so that's something to be very aware of. Even with pool filters, Zillow does not always pull properties with pools. Just be aware of that and do your research and look at it significantly in depth. Interior wise, this looks nice. It doesn't look like it needs any updating whatsoever. It looks fairly modern. When was this built? But either way, the date available was for July 1st. So pretty awesome. It's coming up. Empty property, so it's not fully furnished in any capacity, but it has a lot of space and availability, it looks like. Very cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this property, I'm going to copy, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug this into this software right here. This software is called airdna.co. You can create a free login and you can utilize it to a degree to give you a certain amount of data for free. There is a paid version, and you can pay per market, or you can subscribe for the whole country. They have a bunch of different plans that you can utilize and use at your disposal. And it gives you an entire overview and a breakdown of what to expect in the area that you're going to be utilizing and renting out and creating an Airbnb business with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into this rentalizer spot over here on the left-hand sidebar. When I go into here, what I'm going to be doing is taking that address that I took from Zillow. I'm going to be plugging into this search bar. Once that loads up, I'm going to then adjust these filters as needed. So it looks like it's set up already. It's a 3-bed, 2-bath property. Square footage is a little smaller than we wanted to look for, but it doesn't hurt to look at it. So I'm going to go back into here and verify that this is correct. So we have 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and it says it can host up to 6 people. Most people think that that's the limit that you can put into a property when you see 3 bedrooms. We automatically increase the guest count by 2 because people can sleep on a sofa bed or even a rollout bed that you can store inside of a closet fairly easily. And number of occupancy sometimes increases the price range. That went up $10,000. So out of the gate, I'm just going to say this. This isn't a deal to me. Anything that makes less than $75,000 gross a year, on occasion $60,000 gross a year, I automatically turn down and say it's not a deal. Due to the market we are currently in, it is not a safe bet to get into something with this level of gross revenue taking place. This is just a quick overview. Don't just look at this number because it's not 100% accurate out of the gate. Look at the properties I'm about to show you. You're going to scroll down here. You're going to look at the data and then do what we call a comp. And I call this a dirty comp because it's just quick numbers to look at what properties you're trying to get into. So as you can see, as we scroll down, you got properties that are saying 60,000 a year. They're available for most of the year. This one made 20, but their projection is 31.6. They're available 229 days. They didn't do well. This person is doing not the greatest. This one's on par with what we're supposed to be doing. This one's doing awful, but it's only available this amount of time. And again, this one's doing the same thing. Not that open in availability. We don't use comps of a property unless they are open and available for probably about 250 days, 275 days right here, or more for the year, just because we need to know the seasonality projection of that property.
Question.
Shoot.
What's the difference between revenue and revenue potential?
Good question. So revenue is displaying what these people made so far to date for this year. That is what they have obtained. That is the amount of guests that they've had at the property. They booked, they cashed in, cashed out. Revenue potential is what AirDNA, Airbnb predicts based on the seasonality in the area of what this property could make based on the data they've collected from the property's performance already. They're available for 304 days. They have a 71% occupancy. Their average daily rate, ADR, average daily rate is this. And you can see that it's pretty much similar across the board here. Everybody's around the 259 until you get down to these 3. So that's the difference there. So as you
So
can see, this
it's,
person,
so it's the difference is the revenue potential is if it was listed all the 365 days, right?
yes, it is.
Okay,
Also based on the occupancy of the property and the ADR in general.
okay,
That price range will fluctuate and adjust what that potential revenue projects to be.
perfect. Thank you.
Mhm. So over here on the right-hand side, what you can do is all these properties, if you can see that little dot is bouncing right now, that I'm hovering around number 6 here. So I can hit control, I can zoom in, and here is that property in question. This one right here that we're looking at, 1511 Varela Drive, Austin, Texas. So you can see the outline of our property. Closest one to in the same development is number 6. This is why I say this is not a good deal. This property is only available for 132 days out of the year. They're only doing $10,000. They're not making much money. This is not a deal, but this is how you tell if it's a deal. And that's the whole point of this. You can see over here on the rentalizer estimates, it's what they estimate you're going to do for the upcoming months, starting in January of 2023, February, March. If you go down, it shows you the seasonality of the area that you're in. And again, this is loose data, but they've collected it from all the properties around. So it's not 100% concrete gold standard evidence. Take this loosely, learn the language, understand it. August in Austin, in Texas in general, is one of the slowest months because it's the hottest time of the year. 104 degrees, you need ovens to drive your car. It's brutal. So bear that in mind. The good seasons, as you can see, they start picking up September and October, and they drop off a little bit during the holiday seasons. But certain markets, the good seasons are between October all the way to April, such as Phoenix, Arizona, those types of places, southern markets in general, because all the snowbirds travel south, and that's the winter seasons for them in the south, so it's colder overall.